Just on August 31st, August 30th, a guy you guys may know, his name is Jared Kushner, took a flight from Israel to UAE, crossing Palestinian, and Trump had folks from Palestine and, Netanyahu there renegotiating, working together. What happened? That was just 8 months ago, 9 months ago, August 31st. And everybody's like, this is ridiculous. 25 years. Can't believe Trump, this temperamental guy, was able to unify everybody. By the way, again, that's August 31st of 2020. Fast forward where we are today. The two going back and forth, obviously there's deep-rooted issues. You just kind of told the history of where it's at and what Netanyahu did and what others did. Here's my biggest concern. So Biden calls Netanyahu, and Biden calls the leader of Palestine, Hamas. He has the conversation with them, right? Phone call with them. When a phone call is being made by the most important man in the world, who is the president of the United States, and they blow you off, guess what that means? You have no influence. You're a nobody.
Who blew off
Biden
Trump?
calls Netanyahu and Palestine saying, stop it. Stop doing what you're doing. Neither one of them listened to him. What does that tell you? There is no influence. What do you think the phone call sounded like? I understand what you guys are going through. I think it's good. You guys need to stop it. This is not good. People are dying. Children are dying. They're like, okay, bye. What are you talking about? Fast forward, think about the phone call of the guy that was the most hated man in the world just about a year ago. Let's say if that was happening today, Trump made the phone call. What is Trump going to say? I just want to let you know, if I hear one more rocket going, I swear to God, you're going to get 25% sanction put on you for 6 months. Do it. I dare you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do it. I dare you. Okay, Mr. President, we don't want to go to that situation. We're not saying this to you. We're just saying, no, do it again. Go ahead and do it again. That is the kind of stuff in moments like this where you realize and you miss a guy who actually had a backbone and people feared him, who actually had the negotiation ability to challenge it. God knows there was a lot of other things that he was doing that was pissing a lot of people off and creating a lot of unnecessary, what's the word I'm looking for, tension that was not needed, right? Yeah. But fast forward, if Trump made that phone call today, how would it have happened? Here's the other question I got for you. How instrumental was Jared Kushner in this entire deal? How? Very much so. By the way, Kushner is not a Republican. People think he's a Republican. He's not a Republican. He's an independent at best, is what Kushner is. He's probably a Democrat.
His brother and his wife are certainly a Democrat.
What I'm saying is he's not a Republican. Yeah. He is not a Republican.
He's just following Trump.
He's a guy that gets things done. That's Kushner. Goes from real estate to all of a sudden negotiating a deal between Israel and Palestine. Like, who are you? Like, you think it's just a real estate transaction? The guy, and he doesn't even want the recognition, right? So here's my question for you, follow up to what you just said. Hey, Mr. Biden, President Biden, this matters to you a lot? Phenomenal. Thank you for being such a man that cares about what's going on in Palestine and Israel. If it matters so much to you, have you made the phone call to a guy named Donald and a man named Jared who actually were able to negotiate a peace? If you care about all these people that are getting killed and are being bombed, have you made that phone call to say, hey, Donald, what should we do here? Hey, Jared, what did you do here? This is not about ego here. This is, if people's lives really matter, guess who you call? You call your ex. You call the husband of your wife that you were with, even though you can't stand this guy. Say, listen, my kids are living with your kids. We got a problem going on. Listen, you and I don't like each other. I fully get it. But in this situation, we both like our kids. Yes or no? Perfect. What do we need to do in this situation here? Because one of your kids got caught smoking weed and my kid's thinking about doing the same thing as well. They were only 13, 14 years old. Yeah. You and I need to have a sit down together. This is when you realize who's a true diplomat. This is when you realize who's a true negotiator. This is when you realize who's a real ambassador. This is when you realize who's a true statement that cares about the lives of people. And if you truly do, it's not a phone call to Netanyahu and it's not a phone call to them. It's a phone call to a guy named Donald Trump. It's a phone call to a guy named Jared Kushner. And FYI, I want you to visualize this. Who wins in this situation? Let me paint a picture, and I got to go because Caroline's here telling me I got to go. I want to paint a picture to you. Next week, today's what? Today's Thursday? What is today?
Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday. This week,
what day is it?
You see on Friday or Thursday, Biden on stage with Kushner and Trump and Kamala.
Wow.
Hear me out. On stage. They get up and they say, following statement, folks, we may disagree on God knows how many different things. But if there's one thing we agree on, is we don't like to see the violence that's taking place in Israel and Palestine right now. President Trump and President Biden and I, we're on the same page to have to stop this. If you're watching this right now, Netanyahu and Palestine, this needs to stop or else ... We're asking for the support because this matters that much. If that took place this week, who wins? You're smiling because you're actually seeing it. If that took place this week,
The world would win.
no, the world wins, but on a serious note, who actually wins?
Biden would.
Biden wins,
Yes.
not Trump.
Yes.
If Biden makes that call,
Yes.
Biden wins, and the world's going to say,
He would look like a true diplomat.
but do you think it'll happen?
No.
and
It's
that's
not-
why I'm
that's the
smiling,
problem.
because the place we're at
So
in this country,
all of this stuff
comical.
that's going on in
a great
Israel
idea.
and
It's a great idea.
Palestine, all of this stuff that's going on in Israel and Palestine could be solved if the leaders truly cared about this. Make the damn phone call to the guys that were able to broker this deal. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.